All right, hello everybody. This is John Hovey from North Metro SBDC. If you've watched some of our webinars, then you've probably seen me, and maybe you're familiar with Dawn Alexander, who's with me today. We've got a whole bunch of questions that we're going to be talking about. Dawn, why don't you go ahead and maybe introduce yourself a little bit and tell folks about your background and how you came to be here today.
Hi, thanks, John. So my name is Dawn Alexander, and I actually came into the world of childcare years and years ago when my kids were young, because I quickly discovered that I didn't want to work at an office and have my kids be in childcare. So for that reason, I opened a licensed home and became a provider there, and that's how I raised my kids, being a childcare provider. First over in Aurora, and then later over in the Centennial area. So that was really great to be able to be home with them and raise them at the same time and run this business. From there, one day I woke up and realized like none of the kids in the house were mine. And so I thought, maybe I'll transition now. So I went into childcare licensing from there and did licensing for a little over 3 years. And currently I work at the Weld County Health Department, trying to increase the number of childcare providers in the county, providing health and safety support, that sort of thing. But at the same time, I've opened a consulting business, Colorado Child Care Consultations, where I work with people on a systems level on systemic change. So that's where SBDC and I met, and it's been a great fit, I think. And so we're working together on a business essentials class and yeah, doing what we can to help people out.
You bet, you bet. And it's off to a fantastic start.
So today we're here to talk about the Colorado Shines rating system and why people should get rated. And so I want to talk to all of you about that. We need to start at the very beginning because we'll have a whole variety of people here that just know bits and pieces. So let's cover the whole system and have some discussions around that. So Colorado Shines is this system similar to hotel ratings, right? Everybody wants to stay at a 5-star hotel versus a 1-star. And so that's kind of what the entire system for Colorado Shines is modeled after. So it is a quality indicator rating, and you can go anywhere from 1 to a 5. So everybody who enters the system as a licensed provider starts out as a level 1 because they are meeting the minimum health and safety standards. So automatically when you receive your license, your rating becomes a level 1. Once you start getting into the field and getting busier and learning more about everything that's available, a lot of providers want to move up to become a level 2. And really to do that, you just have to check a few boxes, right? You have to develop a quality improvement plan. You have to complete an indicator assessment that's basically just yes/no questions. It's a self-assessment to kind of see where you're at on quality and all. You have to make sure that you and your staff are all registered in the PDIS, which is the Professional Development Information System. And then you also have to make sure that 75% of your staff or you whole have 10 hours at a minimum of level 2 trainings in PDIS. So this system really is they're starting to ask you questions about all of this because they really want to know that your program is going to support the health and safety of kids that are in care, that all staff is well trained and effective at what they do. It provides a supporting learning environment that teachers can really demonstrate new skills, and it helps parents to become partners in the child's learning environment. As well as if you are running a center, for instance, really demonstrating good leadership and business practices. We're obviously helping home providers with those business practices with our current series as well. So,
I've got a couple questions.
So,
right off the bat, you know, if I were interested in going from level 1 to level 2, I understand those 4 requirements. I would go to coloradoshines.com.
So if you just look up, if you just Google Colorado Shines, it's going to take you right to that site, and you can start working on that. It'll have directions. It's got directions for parents in case they're wondering what that's about. It's got directions for providers to help you walk through. Here's the genius of the system, okay? We're going to talk about a lot of things that you have to do over this time period. But you don't have to do any of it alone. Your local area childhood council, early childhood council in Adams County, that's ECPAC, they have coaches that are on staff that is what they're paid to do. They are paid to support quality in your home. And so if you call them and say, hey, I'm having difficulties in the system trying to figure out how to get my level 2, then the coaches there are going to be able to help you to do that, to get that level 2. Sometimes you miss checking a box and they can see it on their end, but you can't see it on yours or figure out what's going on. They're going to solve that problem with you and get you to the point where you can check the submit box and it'll go off to your licensing specialist for approval and you're good to go. So if you run into any issues getting to that level 2, check in with the coaches right away and they'll help you out.
That's great. And it's something that folks could make an appointment with you either through your small business or through northmetrosbdc.com for a little help with that too, correct?
Yes.
Neat. And then this PDIS, that's all online. I'm familiar with that a little bit. And so, you know, between the quality improvement plan, the self-assessments, and that 10 hours of training, really getting to that level 2 could be done very quickly.
Very quickly, yep. And here's the thing, like a lot of people say, what's the big deal? Why does it matter? We're really working hard as an entire industry to advance quality in the state of Colorado. One of the most difficult things for a provider is to be called a babysitter, right? That's very, very challenging for them because we know that they're like working longer days to support families than families are working in their work sites, right? They're at home doing all of this. And then when the kids leave, they still have cleaning and planning and all of these other things that they have to do. So they're working very long and very hard days to make sure that things are working well for kids. And so we really want to make sure that they get recognized for the work they're putting in. And it does send an indirect message if you just abstain from a system and go, too much, it's a headache, I'm not going to deal with that, I'm going to just stay where I'm at. And that sends an unfortunate message, really. When you have the ability to tap into resources and get some support for your business so that it can ratchet up in quality, it doesn't make a lot of sense not to do that, right?
For sure. So tell me about level 3. That's probably a little bit more in-depth than level 2.
It is. And so here's where you kind of group level 3 through 5 together, because to do this, you're going to have a lot of extra requirements that you have to pay attention to and incorporate into your program. So I'm going to put 2 links. I'm going to copy these and drop these into the chat for people. The first one is a link to a guide for homes that kind of walks you through steps that you have to take. And then let me get the other one here that's for centers. These are called evidence readiness guides. So they will help you kind of walk through the whole plethora of information that you're going to be working on in workforce qualifications, family partnerships, administrative practices, learning environment, and child health. So there's a lot of areas where they're looking for very specific details, and very specific details on how to find these things. And so if you go to those links, you're going to see how many pages they are. I mean, the home one really is, we're looking at I think it's like 21 pages. And then the center one is more like 40 pages, ballparking it there. But so much more comprehensive. Okay, back to you. There we go. Now I can see everyone again. So if you look at those, in all of those areas that I mentioned, you're going to have very specific questions. And some of that's going to be challenging. If you're in a home, you probably, like, we're trying to get it to where people understand and hear the terminology that's shared between the two different kinds of programs. And so the idea of a credential is something that is very new to a lot of home providers. And so we have worksheets that we could use to help you with that in terms of like, what is a professional credential in early childhood? So that's an alternate pathway to be able to become an early childhood teacher. That is available to home providers, that's available to center providers. It's something where you get to combine your educational experience with your work experience and have all of that count towards your status, your position within the industry. So the very first page, the very first question is talking about credentials. So if you don't know about that, you're gonna open that page and go, holy cow, what is what is this, you know? And so I do understand it's a lot to take in. But if you look through that, it'll give you an idea of kind of where they're trying to get everyone to. When you do a level 3 through 5, you actually have to not just submit questionnaires and do that sort of thing. You actually have to provide some evidence that you are expanding quality in your program. And so this checklist will help you start walking through that. I do need to tell you, well, I can tell you that in a minute. So here's the thing. As you walk through that and look at it, if it seems overwhelming to you, don't get overwhelmed. Just know that what you want to do is get in touch with your coaches at your council, because they're going to be able to have you sign a memorandum, an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. And with that MOU, then they know, like, okay, we're in a working relationship. You and I, we're going to make sure that you get exactly what you need in terms of coaching. What kind of materials do you need? I will tell you right now, this is a huge opportunity for programs to rate. And it's also the easiest time in the entire system of Colorado Shines for programs to rate, because people can't walk into your program, plop down, and observe you for whatever period of time, right? There's no in-person observations. So it actually takes some pressure off right now in a lot of ways to not have to have someone kind of staring at you with their paper and checking off boxes themselves, right? So if there's ever a time when you've been thinking like, maybe I want to do this, I don't know, you know, this is the time to do it. Now there is a wait list right now. They obviously have a lot of people that they need to get rated that applied last spring, this past spring, and we had a little incident in our world called COVID that has impacted their ability to do those. So they're going to really work with people that have applied first and move through. And so they'll make sure to gather all of the information that they need to substantiate the rating process. They're also really considering whether or not, without an observation, if they can allow a level 5 rating. And so they may put a cap on this right now because of COVID and virtual discussions and stuff. They may cap it at a level 4 for the time being. I'm going to tell you, if you are a provider that does CCAP, ratings are going to matter to you because it impacts your revenue directly. So most counties, yeah, sorry, they have increasing rates based off of your quality level. And so if you do CCAP, that's going to directly affect your revenues. And so, but the good news is there's really no difference between a level 4 and a level 5 in most CCAP ratings for that. And what they reimburse. So at least it won't affect you negatively there. And then within 3 years, you can rate again if you would like. If you really want to shoot for a level 5, you can re-rate and do that. Also, a little note, if you don't agree with how they rated you, you can appeal the decision and give them documentation to help substantiate the things that they didn't see or know about in your program, and that can help improve the rating that they gave you.
So it is possible to be downgraded in this system.
So if you're just entering it, you're going to be increasing. It's pretty likely, right? But it is possible. Like if you're a level 5 program and you kind of let some things go and your staff's not quite where they need to be and that sort of thing, you could be downgraded, yes. So, but I don't think many level 5 providers out there are gonna allow that to happen. So, and the system right now, there's a guide, the Eckers and Itters, they've got guides that will help walk you through this. All of these checklists are based off of those guides. That is not my area of specialty by any means. And so your coaches are the people that like go and do long trainings to like support you in those areas. So connect with them and they will do that and do that well.
That's great. What's your sense of the overall breakdown? Like how many in say the world of home providers, how many folks have gotten to level 5 and how many are still at a level 1 or 2?
I don't have the percentages in front of me. I know that in recent years it's starting to increase. I do know for homes in Adams County, there's only like, I think it was 7 that are a level 3 or higher in Colorado Shines.
You're really setting yourself apart if you make the effort to get that.
You really are. It's a good way to distinguish your business. And they've established, OEC, the Office of Early Childhood, has established a toolkit for you to be able to use. So if you come out of this with a high rating and want to market that, there is actually a letter that you could send to your local newspaper so that maybe they would do a press release on it. There is a one-page letter to parents and families to let them know what your rating is and what that means in this system so that it helps to reinforce the quality efforts that you've applied to this process. So they've done those things to try and support you, and hopefully we'll see some marketing efforts there from OEC as well that can help to kind of put that whole system out there and help people to know. You can also, when you get whatever you do in that system, in the Colorado Shines system, you can modify your profile for when parents search for providers in their area and they find your program. You can actually modify what they see there because they have the basic template of what is covered for every program. But you can go in on your portal end and actually add pictures to that and narratives and that sort of thing to help your profile stand out as something different from all of the rest.
Great. And that will show the quality rating as well, I'm sure.
And on that, in that system, parents can look and they can see how'd you do on your last licensing inspection? Have you had any complaints against you? Have there been any injuries in your program? Or stage 2s, which are the process, that's the process that follows an abuse or neglect complaint to the county. That's when licensing comes in for a stage 2 to make determinations about any licensing violations in that part.
Right. Well, let's check with our audience and see if anybody has typed in any questions for you. Finalists too.
And John, there is one other thing that I need to mention.
Sure.
If you, as a program, have an accreditation with like NACI or National Association of Family Child Care Providers, or there's a list of accreditations that you can look at and see if you have if you're in any of those, or if you're a Head Start or early Head Start program, then you can actually crosswalk and automatically get your rating. So because like Head Start programs and accredited programs already have that quality component built into it, and they have people that come and review the program. And so it's a good way to just kind of cross right over and receive your rating. And those vary between level 3s and level 4s, depending on what the program entails.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this has been very good. I don't see any questions from the audience, but to recap what I understand, tell me if I'm wrong. If you've got a childcare license, then you start in the system as a 1 automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to level 2 is fast and easy through the Colorado Shines website. 4 things that you have to jump through, 4 hoops, but all online and fairly easy to accomplish quickly.
Yep.
Getting level 3 to 5, best bet is to sign up with a coach through ECPAC or whichever county you're in, and use that resource to help you work through those guides that we attached. And COVID is the time to do it because there are no home visits. So now is right while the iron is hot.
Right. There
Great.
may be a little bit of a lag in when they can get to you, but the sooner you can get your information in, your application in for quality rating, the better off you are. So, and really, they have a lot of funds to buy supplies for you. So if you want to take a swing at getting a level 3 through 5, that means that you're going to be able to put in a lot of equipment, and you get to go shopping for toys. I mean, all kinds of great things. And so why would you go shop for those things on your own, just to kind of on your own build quality in, when there's an opportunity to tap into that grant funding to outfit your business for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, fantastic. Thanks for coming on today and giving us this rundown. I put your link to coloradochildcareconsultations.com in the chat, and also northmetrosbdc.com. Feel free to visit our website, make an appointment with Dawn or with any of our consultants at any time. Our consulting is always free, and we'll help steer you and steer your business towards whatever assistance we can give you. So that's all I have. Dawn, any last words?
Nope. You know what? I just say go for it. Well, there is one last word. Look, if you believe in quality for your kids and you believe in all of the data that shows the research on brain development and all of that sort of stuff, like this entire industry has just exploded in recent years, and we know what a difference you make in these kids' lives every single day. I would challenge you, like, why not engage in something that's going to help you to positively impact the outcomes of those children for the rest of their lives? So jump in. It can be a little scary, it can be a little overwhelming, but your business has the opportunity to grow and develop in really great ways through this program. And so I just encourage you to engage in that.